Hi, I'm Nick Dashel, and I cover Oregon State football for the Oregonian and Oregon Live. I'm here to give you three storylines for the Beavers for this upcoming 2023 football season. First one is Oregon State worthy as a Pac-12 title contender? And the short answer is yes. The Beavers should have one of the Pac-12's best offenses if DJU makes a difference at quarterback. There's no questions about Oregon State's offensive line and running game. They're among the best in the Pac-12. The Beavers had the best defense in the conference a year ago, and it's a little bit of a stretch to think they can continue that. But they still should be very good, especially if the cornerback position and inside linebackers they grow up quickly, and I think they will. They've got some talent at those positions. The Beavers also have a pretty favorable schedule. On paper, I think they could be favored in their first 10 games, depending on injuries, now things break. But at this moment, they look like there's a path to getting to be 10-0. The Beavers play most of their tough games in Reser Stadium this year. Here's my thinking: if Oregon State wins the games it should, and which are most of them, the Oregon-Washington games are going to decide whether Oregon State plays in the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas. The second one I want to talk about is, can Oregon State shore up its defense? The Beavers led the Pac-12 a year ago in just about every major defensive category. But from that team, there were significant losses, many of them to the NFL. I don't think this defense is going to take a significant drop off. The defensive line that Oregon State has for this upcoming season, it's as good as Jonathan Smith has had in his 6 years in Corvallis. They've got a lot of guys that have played football here at Oregon State, and they're starting to get size and speed up front. Plus, I think the pass rush, they've got guys that they brought in over the last couple of years at outside linebacker that can make a difference. In the secondary, if Alton Julian returns from an ACL tear to his 2021 form, the middle of the field is going to be pretty special for Oregon State, I think, with Katana Oladapo back there too. The big concerns obviously are inside linebacker and cornerback. There's talent at both positions, but they lost a lot of players from last year's team. If these guys can step up and become veteran and play like veterans by October, I think this defense can be one of the top four in the Pac-12. The third one I'm going to talk about is Oregon State's offense ready to break out? Oregon State's running game is very good. Is it special? That's an overused word in sports, but I think the potential's there with Damian Martinez, last year's conference freshman offensive player of the year, returning. The offensive line is as good as any that Jonathan Smith has had during his 6-year run here in Corvallis. It's led by two tackles I think you're going to see play on Sundays in Joshua Gray and Tali Fuaga. The tight end group it's as deep as there's been in Corvallis in quite a while. I could see this group getting somewhere in the vicinity of 60 to 70 catches this season. At receiver, you're going to see, I think Silas Bold and Anthony Gould are going to be a problem for the defenses. Now the issue will be, can the depth behind those two, can they make a difference? What could take this offense from being good to potentially great is DJU at quarterback. The Clemson transfer, he's like no one Oregon State's had at quarterback under Smith. He's got experience. He's got a big arm. He's 250 pounds. He's a load to bring down in the running game. I think the combination of DJU, this offensive line, and a dynamic running game makes this offense one to watch this fall.